All right, welcome back to Life It with DVD. Thanks for being here. Today, I wanted to go further into human design and talk about the Rave Mandala and the synthesis of the four ancient esoteric systems with the modern science of human design. Um, and I'm going to just go into the four ancient kind of schools of thought. Going to leave out the personality and design side of things for now, as well as the magnetic monopole, and just kind of discuss where some of this information comes from. There is so much to this; it's so dense. Um, but it's fascinating to research, and I think it's important to understand the history around this when we look at where is this information coming from? Why is this our own genetic blueprint? um, and I mean, there's just there's so much to it. There's so much to it. So let me hop over to the mandala, the Rave Mandala. Um, so I'm going to adjust some things here, right? It's that's too much. So let's bring that up so we can see it a little bit better. So this is on Genetic Matrix. I have been using Genetic Matrix for all of these charts. They just do such a great job at being able to pull up different looks of the information, and they cover so many different things. It's really quite an incredible tool. But for this, right, I have the Rave Mandala up here, and this covers a lot of these different schools of thought here, right? So we have our astrological wheel. So let's ignore, right, the different um, quarters that we have here, right? For now, we'll get into that later. There's different quarters for each, spot on the chart. But ultimately, we have our traditional astrological wheel, Western astrology here. It goes around. We have starting with Aries, finishing with Pisces, right? Rotating counterclockwise here. We have our I Ching. These are these symbols that the I Ching is ancient Chinese technology or technology school of thought. Could be looked at it as technology. And this gets into our genetic codons, right? How we are actually coded. We have the chakra system, which is not seven centers like we may be traditionally used to, but it is nine centers. We had a reorganization, internal reorganization of what happened to us back, I believe, in the 1870s, something like that. So, it's the same as the chakra system, but this is reorganized to allow us to be a nine-centered being, not a seven-centered. So it's basically the same. It's just a different way to look at it. And then we have the Kabbalah and the Tree of Life, the Zohar. We have all of the gates, which align almost perfectly with pretty much perfectly with the I Ching. And you can see here, right, I have different symbols for each planet, right, that uh, captured my birth and the 88 degrees of the solar arc before my birth. So that's about 3 months. And that is what captures the personality and design side in human design. So you can see here, right, this is both my Saturn in the gate 26 unconsciously and my conscious Saturn in the gate 5. And ultimately that's because this genetic snapshot was taken before, right? 3 months before I was born. So the black side is when I was born. The red side is that 3 months before I was born. And I'm already talking about the the human design component to this, but you can see how well it works into all of these other schools of thought here, right? It's capturing the astrological part, the I Ching. It's letting us know the gates of which, right, in our Rave chart of our nine-centered being here and the chakra system, where that gate is located, and if we have something on the other side, right, that creates a channel, right? This is part of the Kabbalah. So, to that end, we have just a monumental amount of information here that defines this chart. And you might even be able to see I have to kind of squint here a bit, certain areas or degrees, as they are called, to which the gate is defined. Now, I know it's so small here. I already tried to enlarge this as much as possible. But each degree, which is about 5 degrees each, so there's 30 degrees in each I Ching or gate, and of those degrees it creates a line, which of that line, right, and that line is about 5 degrees of that planetary alignment in that energy. That line has a very specific characteristic in that actual gate, right? So you can barely see it here, but I have a gate 5, and this is the second line here, or actually no, it's the 5th because the way it rotates. And that 5th line is basically what characterizes, if I go over here, back to my core human design chart, that 5-5 is what characterizes my Saturn right there. So, right, this is the fifth gate and the 5th line. I know I could have probably used a better example, but right, the way that gate is colored in is the gate of waiting, 5th line of joy. So, jumping back over here, right, this is just how some of these things start to combine, and you can see how the different schools of thought are all woven into our genetic blueprint here, our 64 codons of the I Ching, right? The I Ching is also, right, in the 1950s, there were biologists, Watson and Crick, they cracked the genetic code, and they were able to, the dogs, okay, I think the dogs are outside, so they cracked the genetic code, and in the I Ching here, right, each symbol of each hexagram represents a codon, a specific codon, and how that compares to the I Ching is each line, and you can barely see it, but each solid line across is a yang line, and each broken line is a yin line, and these match up perfectly with our genetic sequence, and the 4 base chemicals that we have in our DNA, and how they're grouped, and these go into amino acids, and this is what is known as a codon. And not to get into this too deep, right? I mean, still, it's very, very dense. But this is our genetic blueprint. This is why, this chart is you, right? Because it's combining this ancient wisdom with modern day science to tell you this is exactly what you are and the qualities and the characteristics that come with it. Right? So this is why this is absolutely perfect for self-differentiation and understanding yourself, because there's so much detail to the chart and there's so much detail to you. There might be even more detail in the chart that you might not even know about yourself or even have considered in yourself. But once you bring awareness to that, right, that is what can create a better future. It can create growth, create awareness and understanding around your strengths, your weaknesses, and how you can potentially walk your path. And ultimately, when you look at this, it's just it's beautiful, because you look at all of the degrees to which, right, even in each specific gate, there's a specific line and a characteristic that comes with it, of 384 possible different, mutations of this that is in that specific planet at that time of your birth. So each quality in each gate and each degree is going to be mapped over to that coloring of that planet in your chart, and with that specific quality. So it's absolutely amazing the level of detail that this is able to break it down into. And I know that's probably way too much for you, so I'm probably going to end the video here. But I just wanted to go into this a little bit further on, where is this information coming from? How is it that it is so aligned with us? And that's because it's based in a lot of different traditional and modern day sciences. So I know that's kind of a very open way of talking about all of this, and the four different schools of thought that have really gone into this. And I'll talk more about the human design component, I think, in the magnetic monopole tomorrow, and where that comes in, how that looks, and defining that a bit better. But just want to try to give a high level overview of this, to just understand what all of this noise appears to be for now. So let me know if you have any questions or comments. And if you enjoyed this, like or subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. And, I can come back and do some more human design content. So thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya.